Bob Uecker has been with us before. They laughed when I introduced him as Mr. Baseball. Bob did play in the majors for about 14 years. He did not have the most brilliant career. He is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He has been asked not to come near the Baseball Hall of Fame. But as a result of that baseball career, Bob became one of the voices of the Milwaukee Brewers, and this year he's also a commentator for ABC Monday Night Baseball. Would you welcome Bob Uecker? Mr. Baseball. Bob, before we talk about the baseball season, I've noticed this seems to be a trend or something that's happened. All guys who do sportscasting on television wear strange sports jackets. I mean, they seem to be, Haywood Hale Bruner wears things that are ungodly. All of the sportscasters wear, it's probably very nice, it's probably very expensive, but it is.
It's, I got it outside. It's $8 for the whole thing. Shoes. Guy out here on Alameda. Asked me if I was coming in and...
Operating out of an old Chevy station wagon. He picked it up.
$8 for the whole thing. Got to get it back by 8:30. So.
Well, let's talk about baseball. Now, spring season is it's underway, right?
Yeah, we've had... We're underway 3 weeks now, and we had our spring training session again in Sun City, Arizona, which we talked about last year as a retirement community. And I ran into a thing out there last year, and we talked about it last year about... You go in bars out there, and there's not many gals hanging around. You know, they got dummies that they blow up and sit at the bars next to you.
Well, it's a quiet community, right?
I had to tell you this. I got probably the social event of the spring out there this year. I got arrested for drunk driving on a Honda. And I'd never been through one of these things before. I like to, when I was a player, of course, I like to drink before a ball game to kind of get you keyed up.
That keyed you up, huh?
Yeah, it got you going a little bit, but we had a little session out at a place in Sun City this year where myself and about 4 or 5 other ball players were going over a couple of hitters, you know, talking about.
Right.
And you get in there pretty good. We started throwing the hookers down, and about 11:30 at night, one of the kids that works in our clubhouse had a Honda motorcycle. So one of our other players took it around and rode it around out there, and as I said, Sun City is a retirement community, and they don't go for that. So they called the local police department out there, and he brought it back, and I got on it. I was just going to go around a couple of blocks, just take a spin on it, and I was in there. I was half in the bag. I'm not, you know, I was drunk when he arrested me, but I hadn't shaved like for 2 days, and had a fishing hat pulled down over my head. My shoes were untied. And when he pulled me over, I asked him what he stopped me for. And he said for driving without a helmet. And he asked me if I'd been drinking. And I said, well, I've had a couple of cream de mints after dinner. He said, I'm going to give you the breath test. I want you to breathe in my face. So he stuck his face right up here, and I give him a little... And he said, I want the full boat, you know. So I give him the full one, and he told me that he thought that I'd had a few more. And I don't know if you've ever been through a drunk test. It's the most degrading thing. It's the first time I've ever been through one. But to be put out, I was in a little parking lot, and of course all the old people were standing around, they're getting their kicks. So he told me he was going to give me the test, either that or you have to do a urinalysis test. And I didn't want to do that in the parking lot with all
the older people there.
People looking around.
That's embarrassing, to say the least.
So he told me to put my hands behind my head, put your head back. And I don't believe anybody can do that if they're straight and walk 1 foot after the other. So I did that and didn't do real well. And told me to put my arms out and touch my nose, which I figured was a cinch. Put one here and one down here. And then the coin test. You know, they drop the coins.
They
throw some coins on the ground, and this is the one that I was kind of geared up for. And I got all the coins. When I'm down at the last one, there's a beer cap, but it's embedded in the asphalt. And I'm trying to get it out.
Trying to get that one out.
That kind of cinched it.
That kind of wrapped it up.
Yeah, that kind of wrapped it up. I got they dropped the drunk driving charge because I was out there in spring training.
Certainly.
Doing a lot of goodwill for the other people out there, some of the older folks out there.
Right.
But they gave me a 5-day deal where you had to stand on the golf carts out there. Everybody drives golf carts, and they play a kind of a bumper pool with you. The old people get their kicks.
Yeah, I see. Well, they've got to have something to do. They're in their declining years.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do you miss playing baseball? You know, a lot of athletes now say that the young people who compete in athletics today, it's not fair because, for example, pole vaulters, they use now the aluminum pole when other guys had to use bamboo. Ball players have got better bats and so forth, so all the records is different equipment. You ever think of records you might have said because of the
I don't know if
equipment's
it's
different?
The equipment is different. I go along with that. I can remember being a catcher, and I'm sure a lot of guys that ever played baseball or a lot of former catchers
Right.
in years gone by. Nowadays, the catchers that you see playing baseball now, they wear that golf glove inside the catcher's mitt to absorb some of the shock, from the ball that is being thrown. And years ago, this is a
And you were a catcher.
catcher, and years ago we used to use a falsie. This is a true story, a falsie that goes inside of a gal's...
Yeah, well, we
bra,
don't know what
right.
that is, sure.
And only because of the fact that it was...
Even non-ball players.
yeah,
know
with
what that
non-ball players. But what it did, it's a sponge, it's a piece of sponge that absorbs the shock of the ball. That's really all it boils down to. But I think when you're a kid and, going into a store, trying to... you hang around the lingerie counter for a while. You try to convince the lady behind the counter that you need a falsie for your catcher's glove.
Embarrassing, I suppose.
She asks you if you want a bra for your bat or something like that. That's why years ago I think you saw, like it never bothered you, like you're losing 16-0 in the 5th inning, but the catcher's sitting back there smiling, having a nice time. Catcher's on the bench. You got your glove on and you got your...
You got something to kill time with. Certainly. Bob, let me ask you this. There's a lot of controversy about hockey being rough, but baseball season's 3 weeks old, and I read the other day about they're throwing beanballs, which is trying to hit the hitter, right? There have been several incidents already of pitchers throwing at batters.
They had an incident, I think it's the first time that 2 pitchers have actually come out and said they were trying to
they said if we can hit you, we can hit you if we want to.
It happened in the ball game in St. Louis. The St. Louis Cardinals playing the Mets. And Lynn McLaughlin and John Matlack, who pitches for the New York Mets, actually got involved in a beanball deal where they're trying to...
That ball comes in, 100 miles an hour or something
Yeah, they're
like that?
trying to decapitate somebody, And
Is that to throw fear into the batters when they come up there, knowing that
I think it does.
they might brush them back a little bit, or...
That happened to me. I sent my laundry out. I don't want the clubhouse guy doing it.
When you were in the majors, did they ever try to throw... Well, you weren't the greatest hitter. I mean, nothing personal, but you admit yourself you did not have a great lifetime record of home runs,
I
did you?
didn't. You know what's bad about following a guy? I played on ball clubs where you had good hitters. The Cardinals, or the Braves with Henry Aaron. You're a guy, that guy hits a home run, and you're the next guy up. You go. They don't knock him down, you get it. And I called a lot of them when I was catching.
Yeah.
I got my kicks, watching some pitcher throw at some guy's coconut.
Yeah.
Plus, when a fight would start, I leave all the stuff on, go out there with the mask and...
Well, that's right. You have all the shin protectors.
Yeah. I was more of a sucker puncher. Just walk around the circle and hit guys in the back of the neck. It happened.
But you kept the gear on between.
Oh, I kept the gear on. That was my strong suit. They We had a deal in Philadelphia one there. We got in one of those kind of deals, and it didn't work. Two players grabbed me, one on each arm, and the other guy standing right in front of me lifted my mask up and, give me a shot in the chops. And it kind of aggravated me because they're on my club.
What was your batting average again?
I had a lifetime batting average of 200, which some people would laugh at. But I never cared. I never really did care. I thought, to me, after the game was much more important than the game itself. I've had some of my best nights
After the game.
When you go out and pound it. I think any player with ability can play. I think for a guy to go out every night and really punish himself.
And be back on the field the next day.
Yeah, come back the next day and you're hungover and you got bad breath and, you go out for the umpires meeting and nobody wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
Well, you look at Dave Kingman now with the New York Mets is off to an outstanding year.
What's he at,
Mike
12,
Schmidt.
12, 14 home runs already?
Well, Schmidt, I believe, has got 11 or 12. Kingman's got 9. They're only hurting themselves. I tried to stay around, maybe 1, 2 home runs a year, maybe 3 or 4 runs batted in. Because when you get up in that category, the next year they're going to expect the same thing from you, or even more. And
so you played it cool.
You played it cool. I remember the go home after I think I wanted 3 for 4 one time, and I went home and I had a base hit in April, 1 in May, 1 in June. You go home and talk to your old man. My old man loved baseball. He loved sports, and when I'd have those problems, he's the only guy I could really go to, I guess. Paul was talking about his dad before. I'll never forget when you have those problems. You walk up to you, what are you going to do? He said, why don't you get a job? I think these are the things that
you remember that your folks helped you.
Oh, sure.
You sounded like a wonderful man.
Oh, he's great. He came to this country as a soccer player, and he blew up the balls is what he did.
Look, he was on the team. He's on the team. That's the main thing. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this.